Good evening, everyone. Welcome again. Thank you for joining us here at Inkwell Pictures and Inkwell Network for our weekly acting class improv extravaganza called Think, Feel, Act. Of course, I'm your host, Marvin. Thank you for welcoming me into wherever you are currently right now, whether that's at home, on your phone, rolling in your car, or wherever you are. Thanks for welcoming us in. So this is Think, Feel, Act, and based on what we're doing with Think, Feel, Act, is it's really our concept at Inkwell Pictures to try and get actors to sharpen their game and step their game up, especially if they're doing anything along the lines of on-camera or live stage acting. Being able to create as an actor is your responsibility. It's a big part of what you are supposed to do. That way, when you show up to a director, he can mold what you're creating, okay? So with Think, Feel, Act, we're trying to do that. Every single week, I do a brief little rundown about what I mean by Think, Feel, Act. So let me do that for you currently right now. Okay, so Think, Feel, Act basically recognizes that thinking, feeling, and acting, or the doing part of it, are all separate realms of the human process. In order to be a good actor, being able to translate each of those sections into the art of acting is going to make you much more successful, much more creative. So with Think, Feel, Act, we want you as an actor to be able to operate on all three of those realms. If you're in a scene with a particular circumstance, based on that circumstance, we want you to identify what is the character that I'm supposed to be portraying feeling right now. What is the character that I'm supposed to be portraying thinking right now? And then what is that character, based on all of those things in that circumstance, what are they doing? What does that look like? What is the thing that the actors bring that looks most real to the people that they're expecting to receive it? So that's the Think, Feel, Act piece. One of the cornerstones of being able to do that in character development is really being able to express emotion and express feeling. So I encourage you, I didn't create it, but it was a tool out there that we are currently using. It's called the Feelings Wheel. If you went online and typed up the Feelings Wheel, you would get a host of different versions, pretty much of the same thing in regard to what a Feelings Wheel is. The Feelings Wheel basically is a therapeutic tool that gets people to look at their emotions, core emotions, but also look at the ancillary emotions out from that in regard to the Feelings Wheel. As an actor, most often when you're starting in the acting game and you're sharpening your skills, there are some basic emotions that you're asked to portray, that you're familiar with, that you can hit pretty spot on. One of those emotions might be angry, or one might be happy, or one might be sad. Some of those different core emotions that, for the most part, if I ask your average person, be happy, be sad, play those roles, they could pull that off. If I said be angry or mad, they could pull that off. But as an actor, the question is, can you develop acting out of some of those ancillary feelings? It's one thing to play angry, but it's another thing to play irritated, which is actually an emotion that stems or comes out of anger. So if I were to say, hey, you're irritated about this particular situation, how would you play that off, especially if you didn't want to come off as angry, flat angry. You want to come off as flat irritated. Or if I said confused, how would you play off confused? What does the thinking of a person who's confused look like? What is the action of confused look like? So as Think, Feel, Act goes on, we're trying to get our actors to really develop that solid core of how to be able to demonstrate through the acting in the circumstance as many spectrums of the necessary emotions that they need in order to pull off and just be a phenomenal actor. So we're hoping that, actors look at this as being a lifelong tool. It's a lifelong art. As you go on throughout your life, you'll continue to contribute to the acting. If you keep your head right and you're in the game that way, you'll look at it that I'm growing every single time. So as we do this, I hope that this is just a part of your growth. This is a part of you as an actor, looking for the things and the tools that you need in order to grow. Got it? All right. So I've given a long, big ramble about Think, Feel, Act and what that is. We do have some of those tools in regard to the Feelings Wheel and some exercises that involve Think, Feel, Act that we will actually be posting up on our Facebook page and on some of our social media platforms, just so you can run to those or refresh yourself with those and and be up on it as you're sharpening your skills. As an actor, you should be doing more than just acting when you're in a setting or scene to act. You should be practicing that at home. You should be acting in the mirror to see what your facial expressions look like as you're trying to portray certain characters or certain things. So I hope your acting is something that carries not only just here or just in a setting where you're required to do some acting, but exterior to that. Because if we get right down to it, we all do acting every single day, no matter what. Some of you guys are acting like y'all want to be at work when you really don't. Some of you are acting like you want to be at home with your spouse when you really don't. Your kids are driving you crazy and you still got to cook for them. So look, we do acting every day. It's just a matter of being a good actor, right? And that's what we're trying to create, good acting. So, without further ado, we're going to get into a couple of scenarios. We've got some wonderful actors here today that we're going to run through a few of these scenarios. We hope that you enjoy them. What we're asking as an observer, as you observe these, I want you to look for a few things. For one, I want you to look for whether or not you can see the demonstration of these emotions and how many different ranges of emotion you can pick up on in the acting. Are you seeing angry, mad, sad? Are you seeing confused? Are you seeing depressed? Are you seeing some of those other ancillary things? Are you seeing joyful? What are the other ancillary feelings are you seeing behind the acting that's being demonstrated? We want you to look for the content as well, the flow. How the actor's flowing. What's their chemistry like? Do you believe that they're a couple that even like each other if there's a couple scenario? Do you believe that there's a boss-subordinate relationship? If that's what it is, I want you to look to see whether or not that's something that is believable. And then thirdly, I want you as the actor to place yourself in this scenario and run it back to determine whether or not you would do it the same way, or maybe you would do it a little bit different. Sometimes the difference between you landing a role and not getting that role is that difference on the coin that you play that makes an actor say, or a director say, yeah, I think I like that, okay? So, without further ado, we're going to chop it up, we're going to get into it. The first scenario we're going to do, especially in honor of what's happening with our social distancing and with the coronavirus, things like that. Of course, we want to be safe, and that's why we're doing these acting classes, which usually we do face-to-face. We're doing them virtually online. We have asked some of our actors to kind of come in and help us out with these. All of them have been thoroughly vetted. We sprayed them down with Lysol and all the other disinfectants to make sure anybody who hasn't though been sprayed down, make sure you go through D-Chem before you get in here on set. But we've sprayed them down. We've made sure that they're all pretty much set. Some of them have their masks, like I have my mask here. And if you see me put a mask on while an actor is in set, it just means I'm not certain about their dechemicalization. If I throw it on, I'm just letting you know. It's just what it is, okay? All right, so without further ado, first scene that we're going to pull together is we're going to pull together a couple scene. And this scene is a couple who met during this whole coronavirus pandemic. They met during the pandemic. They've been talking over the phone, online, but this is the first opportunity that they had actually to get together. And they get together and they're meeting each other, but they're still kind of hung up on the safety and security of the whole coronavirus thing. So we're going to see how this whole thing plays out, see how the interesting aspects of how they have the conversation, them being mindful that, yeah, we're still in a setting where social distancing and safety is still important. So we're going to let them kind of run through those scenes, and then we're going to chop it up on the back end to see how believable it was, what some of the things that could change, what's the thinking of the actors and where they were going with that, so that it benefits you, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and set that up really quick. I'll be right back in just a second, and we'll dive right into it from there. Thank you so much for joining us here at Inkwell Pictures and Inkwell Networks. Think, feel, act. This is our Tuesday night extravaganza. Thank you. Mel, how's that?
Come this way some. Good. They're out on the sidewalk outside of Monterey Jack's Delicatessen. How's that? good with the exception of we got some Z with the pin in the shop, but it's okay. Take one of the cloths, not the green one.
Where are the other clocks?
Anything else? Never mind, don't worry about it. Take the notebook off the top of the table. Is that it? You'll be all right. Once they sit down, I think it'll knock down the zebra stripes. Ready? Let's put it in play. Ready? All right, Marvin, 7 in play.
All right, so here we go. We're back. Like I said, this is a couple. They met online. Now they're coming together for the very first time here in the restaurant, but they're still under the whole mix of the whole coronavirus pandemic. They're really kind of, hey man, what are we going to experience here while we're still in this pandemic? So we're going to bring on Felicia first. Come on, Felicia, come on, sit down. How are you, Felicia?
I'm good. How are
You're becoming one of our regulars. Say hi to the audience out there. Inkwell act, the whole thing. She's turned into a phenomenal actress, absolutely. So situated there. Check with our camera folks there.
Let's start the scene and have him come in.
All right, so we're going to start the scene with just Felicia first, and then we'll have him come in and show up. Now, this is no slight to my brothers who have an issue with being timely when it comes down to dates or anything like that. I just want to assure you, and I'm here to help you ladies. Sometimes the brother just wants an entrance. It's nothing like being able to see a brother do his Samuel L. Jackson walk across the room and sit down to the table. You might want to see that. Suppose the brother didn't do that and he walked funny and it was a deal breaker for you. Come on, relax, be easy. But anyway, I digress. All right, so I'm gonna step off scene so that Felicia can kind of get into her mode as Jaime comes and joins them. We'll be right back at you. Here we go, and
It's the first time we meet since just after dating that. So it's kind of like a blind date, finally meeting during the broadcast. Ready?
Felicia? Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
How you doing? What's going on, man? What's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. Wow, this place is nice. And, so how did you hear about this place? Maybe?
Yeah. I saw some reviews. I heard it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. How about the prices? I mean,
The prices.
yeah.
I think they're. You don't have your wallet? Yeah, you.
It's not that much.
Kind of person there's a Mico chorus. Then you got your 70s afro. And what is you? Watson Brown, somebody? What's really happening? You don't look like that on social media. I'm so glad I'm here.
But I mean, I thought I looked like that when we were talking and on the phone.
You know how it is, you know. People set you up with the okey doke.
I know, tell me more.
They take these pictures and then they're like 3 times lighter and brighter than what they really are. But I mean, you really look good. I mean, you look, you look like you was looking.
Thank
under
you.
pictures and everything. So,
Okay. Thank you. So did you look at the menu? I'm gonna look at it when you finish. Did you?
If like you practicing social distancing.
excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry. We were supposed to cover these tables before you came in. I'll just go ahead and put that together for you. You can move your things there, and we'll just drop it down.
You wanna get that?
There we go. And yeah. There. Thank you so much. They'll be by to get you some water in just a minute.
Okay. Oh, he was it was a little close, right? Was that a little close?
What is problem, bro? You see his hairline?
He didn't have on a mask.
That leather wig.
You said his
like
hair?
It looked like he was Batman.
But he didn't have a mask on.
Really?
You know, I left my. I didn't. I'm good. Did you bring your mask?
Yeah, I left it in the car.
I would share with you though. But I can't because it's Corona. You can't share. It's the.
So I know you ain't caught all up in that that corona madness.
I'm caught up. I'm way caught up.
Man, I thought you said you was a church girl. You covered by the
You
blood
thought I
of
was
Jesus.
a who?
A church girl. That's what you said. You
That
know,
ain't
the
what-
profile. You know, the Bible says it's appointed once for a man to die, and after that, the judgment. I don't know what people are worried about all this corona stuff.
Did you want some of this?
Yeah, let me get some more.
Yeah. You need some of that. Did you want a drink?
Yeah,
I think you need it.
you know, wine is in the Bible. That's
It was in the Bible.
yeah, let's drink.
Yeah, let's drink. But what
What's
is
that? A ring? That's a big ring.
So on my leg. You know, it make you look, you know, you out here in the elements a little bit. You got
Is
me.
that real?
I mean, you can't be touching them.
I'm sorry, I just felt like it was a good
I
time
told
to
you
get
I was trying. I was trying to come out and have a good time, but you're making me feel a little. I mean, it's corona in the air. I feel like it's in my hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Freeze.
It's trippy.
James, how are we supposed to start a relationship if we can't really touch and get close and interact with each other? Ready? Action.
Man, listen, man, you need to relax. Now, how are we gonna build a
No.
relationship? You know, we had all this dialogue, you know, going, texting back and forth, you know, all on social media. Wait a minute before you say anything, you know, let me finish speaking. I can't get physical with you, I can't touch you. Really?
I'm trying, but
Relax. I need you to be
I
a little bit
know.
better.
I know.
You was talking like you
I-
was feeling me, you was looking at me, we had great dialogue.
I know. I think
I know so much about you already. I know your mom, you know, you told me your life story, been divorced
My-
about 2 times.
my OCD. Maybe.
OCD.
Yeah, you know that. You know, you just think you gonna get corona. You know, you walk past the waitress breathing. Look at the people over. You see that? Just nasty.
Well, he nasty, but let's digress for a moment. OCD. OCD.
Don't worry about
like
it.
a mental health issue.
We all got mental health issues now.
We all have mental health.
We do. You ain't ever gonna talk to no.
Like, what you mean, like mental health, like
I-
crazy?
No, not crazy. I'm just saying it's just. I'm sure there's something about you that's gonna make me start thinking a little different. You know. I mean, you didn't even bring a mask in here, and you just trusting these people. You know what they say? People that act walking around with the mask on probably don't.
But wait a minute, did you notice how when he came in, the waiter came and put this cloth on his table, how he had his gloves on? Man, what's up with that?
They just nasty.
And they opening things up and they already, right?
So, I mean, did you enjoy like when we were on, you know, the little camera and seeing each other? And stuff? I think I might just like dating like that for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Why? Because of me or because of Corona?
Just the corona, because I mean, I can't come out the house. You know, it's
You work?
from home.
You work from home?
I order my groceries too.
Ooh.
They come right to the house.
Tell me more about that, working from home. Like, what do you do? You know, I know you told me what you do, but like, what exactly, you know, do you do?
You know, I'm an assistant for my supervisor, and I just do some stuff on the computer. But you know, it's so safe working from home, and I think I'm gonna get to stay working at home because it's. I mean, people just nasty, and they just keep spreading this corona, and
So,
I'm
So how does this end? Decisions have to be made versus information on the table. How does it end? Based on the dialogue you guys have conducted thus far. Ready? Action.
And I tell you what, he's taking a long time to check my card. I don't let my card decline because, you know, man, it's crazy out here. I haven't been working for about 2 months, you know, ever since Corona.
That's why you asked me how much. I thought you was going to work though.
You know what?
I'm trying. Did you want some of that? It's like you touch that menu like 5 times. You
This is
touch that.
something I want you to relax.
Uh-huh.
You need to relax, man, and talk to me, you know?
So maybe like once the corona stuff changes a little bit, then we can like
Man, you got more than OCD, man. What?
I don't know.
Some little bipolar with you too, because I'm telling you, man, we was talking.
I know.
And everything was cool. Now we out here. Now you tripping.
I
You gonna
just
get a
think-
little physical with
Did you
touching me.
you heard about the tiger that they thought had corona?
A
I
tiger?
think my dog might get it too. You too close. Just
Sing.
All right, all right. All right, we got it. Good stuff. Let's bring it back here for a little bit.
Difficulties in execution, what was the concept that they were going with, what were the things they were considering as they were breaking the scenes down? Let's go.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's digest the scene here just a little bit. Felicia, of course, walked up with her homemade sanitizer that she keeps with her. She sells it actually by the gallon online. If you do want to purchase that, just go ahead and hit up her website. She does sell the sanitizer. It's something like alligator pee and baby oil, alligator pee, and something else. I don't know what it is, but she'll get it squared for you. So tell me a little bit about where you guys are going with this. You had this kind of nailed down that you knew that part of this concept was that the social distancing and all the pieces of it. So Felicia first, and then we'll go with Jaime. Tell me where you were going with this and what was your inspiration behind your character.
so the inspiration was he was in pursuit, but I was like, it's not happening. Like you're not gonna touch me, no matter what he does, whatever he says. I like what he's saying, but you're still not gonna touch me. It's not happening. It was predetermined.
Already predetermined, no matter what he said, no matter what he did, no touching,
No touching.
no toca.
Yeah, so
Okay.
when he come closer, I move.
Now, we deliberately set up a small table here scenario that would kind of almost, it's not like you're sitting across from a 6-foot table here. How did you guys navigate that? Especially because I see some chair positions are a little different here. So how did you navigate that piece of it?
So so certain things were kind of, the intention was he was going to try to pursue. He was going to touch. He was going to, and I was just to get away.
Got it. So you were running while sitting at the table.
While sitting at the
Okay.
table.
All right, Jamie, so you tell me, what's your concept for the guy? You sat down, you kind of in your bravado, your mel piece. Tell us about your concept when you sat down. Where were you going with it?
Oh, I'm a dog. I mean, I have no other aim but to get here and get up back to the house. I mean, it's
Okay.
Corona. I'm lonely. I'm unemployed. I need somebody to get to the house to help me with these bills.
Do you hear that? Ladies, listen, I'm going to tell you. There are brothers out here who are lonely, who are unemployed and just want somebody to get back to the house to help pay these bills. Sister, this is your opportunity. I'm just saying. But anyway, I digress.
Save somebody.
Go ahead. Say, look, save somebody.
Somebody.
Save somebody.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that's pretty much it. You know, we developed a nice chemistry on social media. We was talking, and I just kind of felt like if I can get her to go out on a date with all of this going on, I really had a shot because everybody I've been trying to hook up with, they've been shooting me down. So I just kind of felt like, you know, since she came, I really had a shot. But then when I got here, her nonverbal communication was showing from the time I came in the way she was positioned, and
Right.
I reached out to her when I came to the table. It was a no-go.
Yeah.
But because of everything that was going on, I'm starving, man. I lost
Brother, stop. Come on. Now, one thing I want to mention, and he mentioned a lot of concepts. We gave them the concept of where they were going to, but he added some of the concepts for what we call the backstory in order to be able to lock into the scene and create the emotion behind it. And that is a true thing. As an actor, a lot of times, especially if you don't have the whole script, or you may have the whole script, but you're trying to lock in the true emotions, you may need to create an additional backstory in order to chain yourself to the emotions that you're trying to get to, or be able to at least step yourself up to the emotion that you're trying to get to. One of the examples that I would give for that is, let's say you're in a scene and the circumstance is a breakup scene. And once you get into this scene here, in order for you to relate to the emotions, you think of a situation where maybe you dealt with a breakup and you created a backstory around that so that you could lend help from the emotions that you really had to this particular scene. That's an example of creating the backstory behind it. Jaime did a really good job at creating that backstory level in order for him to lock in on what was going on and the emotions. Not to say that was his personal story backstory, though. I'm saying that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he created a backstory to help him to lend into the emotion, and it's something I would encourage you guys to do as well too. Now, parting off of this, is there anything that you would have done to change any of this based on the acting of where you're going? Or were there any points of this that you found to be a little difficult or a little awkward?
Well, difficult could be sometimes just kind of, we had some concepts of what we wanted, but then trying to kind of stay within that realm of, okay, this is where we're trying to go.
Right.
So we didn't really have the finish decided before we left.
Right.
You know, one thought was, okay, we figured out when we leave together, and then it was like, no, I'm not. I'm just staying with no.
Right,
That was
right.
the decision. So he was still pushing and pulling
Okay.
for the, she's going to come. I'm like, no.
Okay, all right. What about Jaime? Anything that you have to add to that? Or?
Not really.
Okay.
Just pretty much, you know, my mindset was pursue, 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 pressure, press.
Yeah.
Because I gotta get this girl.
And I'm gonna tell you, look, I've known this brother for many decades, and he is not that type of brother. So it's a testament to the type of acting that this brother is doing right now. I just want you guys to know that actors are built here. Okay. All right, give them a hand. They did a wonderful job. Really appreciate everything they did. So listen, like I said, creating that backstory, being able to lock in on those emotions and really be able to key in and ramp those emotions up is a really important part of what we're doing here and what we're trying to lend and create with you as well too. As an actor, you're charged with creating inside of a character, and then the director is taking that character you created and put it inside that scene. So we want to encourage you guys to still and to continue to be creative, especially at these particular points in time where we may be a little bit more separated than what we normally are. Doesn't mean that you can't create. Still create. Still stay connected. It's important. So we're going to move on to our next episode, our next scenario here. So let me go ahead and see where we are queued off. Our next scenario setting will be what, sir? How about we do the aircraft shot?
I thought that was the last one.
Okay,
Well, let's do the living room. Your man is not who he says he is.
the living room, your man is not who he says he is.
And let's throw 2 to 3 young ladies in the mix on this. So young ladies getting married in a week or 2, and her friends have built up some evidence, and now they're here to say your man is not who you think he is. We can do it all standing in the living room. We can take
all
care of
standing in
it.
the living room. Well, by God, we'll just move these.
Take a trade. She played great.
All right, so Melvin throws a little bit of these curveballs at me as well too. You know, which happens. It's just that it's that thing that Melvin does because he knows without a shadow of a doubt that we can handle it. But this scenario that we're going to pull together, we're going to have to select a couple of actresses out here. Who might we select? Your man is not who he says he is, so that would be an all-male cast or what? I'm just joking. It's fine. So let's go ahead and we'll bring up Kyla, who's one of our brand new cohorts here. Kyla, come on up. Everybody give her a hand. This is Kyla. It takes a lot really to get up in front of folks and to do different things like this. Kyla, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience gets to know you as well too.
Well, my real name is Angeline. I go by Kyla or Angel.
Okay.
So my dream was always to act. I know I have that inside me. Like I can make my face certain ways, my expression. I know I'm good at that, so I wanted to pursue that. So
Okay. All right.
I found you guys on YouTube and Facebook, so I decided to shout out and give y'all a shout out.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, a big part of doing this is really just having that desire. I want to do this, or I want to try. If you have a little bit of confidence that says, look, I can step forward, you can actually do this and have a level of success in doing this, all right? So I want you to be able to do that. Take it from Kyla. Kyla has been successful right now just by stepping up. You can do the same as well too. Let's bring on someone else. Latraia. Let's have Latraia come in. Come on, Latraia. Hi, Latraia. Hey, everybody knows who Latraia Savage is because Latraia Savage is a phenomenal entertainer. On Monday nights, we do the live broadcast, which is called Trade Time with Latraia Savage. She is a phenomenal singer. She did a couple of tributes to Little Richard last night and to Betty Wright last night because of their passing. So we just want to do that, recognize the passing of two icons in the singing industry, definitely, and she did them justice for sure. If you haven't checked out Trade Time on Monday nights, usually 6 o'clock is what time we kick it off. We have a fun, great time. You should definitely check us out. It's usually on the Latraia Savage Facebook page. So if you look up Latraia Savage on Facebook, you'll see that broadcast live. But not only is she a phenomenal singer, I think she is equally phenomenal in regard to her acting skill. We've got a couple of projects she's been in. One in particular is The Pact. So without further ado, Latraia Savage, y'all give her a hand. Latraia, you got anything you want to add? Okay.
One more in the mix too.
And then
young ladies show up to kind of let someone know big man's not really sitting.
And then one more in the mix, we're going to throw Marlicia Jones up in here. Marlicia Jones, coming up, Marlicia Jones. Marlicia Jones. You know that song, Mike Jones? I'm Mike Jones. Who? She not Mike Jones. Who? She's not Mike Jones. See what? You gonna be the girlfriend? Okay. So we got Marlicia Jones up, who's actually a phenomenal actor and singer as well too. She can sing. She acts like she, I'm just a little bit. She's not Mike. She sings well as well too. So okay, listen. This is what we're gonna do. Well, it's your first time doing this particular show with us. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself, Marlicia Jones.
Well, I was born and raised in Tampa, Florida. I never realized how rare it was. I had to throw that out there.
She's from here, y'all.
So outside of that, I'm just chilling. I do a lot in the neighborhood, in the community. So.
Well, it is a pleasure to have Marlicia here as well too. And like I said, this is the place where we're getting ready to ramp up to a lot of different things along the lines of casting for some projects. We got a major project that we're going to be casting and shooting over the summer called Christmas Wedding. That's going to be coming up really soon. We are tremendously excited about that. So we've got some movement on that line. So just keep up with us from there. But without further ado, we're going to break into this particular scene. This particular scene is two girlfriends show up to kind of talk to their girl about their man and stuff that they don't know. I ain't never really had been there before, but
she's a strong best friend.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be a little more aggressive with it. She's gonna be a soft spoken, good cop, bad cop kind of thing.
okay. So we got the two best friends. We got the strong, aggressive, and the soft spoken. So which one is the one they're coming to tell? Who they coming to talk to say, hey, your man ain't like set it up?
Set it up.
Excuse me, just a second.
You're kind of like,
all right, we're back. So listen, we just had to clear it up a little bit because we got a couple of different directors here. We just got to make sure we on the same page. We're on the same page right now. So what this is about, this is a scene where two girlfriends show up to talk to their homie, their good friend, about their man, to let them know that their man is not who she thinks he is. And as a matter of fact, her man is involved in a money laundering kind of scheme that's getting ready to really hit the fan, and he's been indicted already. But she don't know that. So the two girlfriends show up to tell him that. So first girlfriend is Latraia Savage gonna play girlfriend. We're gonna have Marlicia play the next girlfriend who shows up to talk. So that would mean this is her house, Kyla's house, and they're coming to tell Kyla about her man. Okay?
now Kyla loves her man. Can't nobody say nothing bad about her boo-boo. However, these are her ride or die girls from like junior high school. So she does trust them, but she kind of a little bit in that female denial. Not my Michael. What's his name? Mike.
And what we're gonna do, just to switch it up a little bit, I want to switch these two characters here. I want to switch these two characters to where Marlicia is the actual girl. This is her house, the whole piece of it. Her girlfriends, played by Latraia Savage and Kyla, are showing up to tell her, hey, yo, here's the deal. What I want you to look for as the audience is I want you to look for the differences in personality that's displayed between the two actors who are playing the girlfriends. Where's their head at? Where are they coming from? What do you see along the lines of emotions and how they're portraying it? What do you think the thinking is of these two girlfriends when they show up? And then the other piece is, where does Marlicia start off with? Is she beginning to be convinced based on the acting and what's taking place? Or is she kind of set in a different mode? Where's the emotional range where she comes from? What does her thinking look like when she's receiving this information? We'll let them chop it up. We'll come back on the back end, a couple minutes. We'll light it up. All right, so that's it. Without further ado, when I step off, you guys, will be go time.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Are we already in her house? Are we arriving at her house?
Enter.
Or do we come together?
You're entering right in. As soon as I walk off, it'll be like you guys
Tuck
are
up
into
stage and come down to your position where you are now.
I didn't hear you. Who's talking?
So like over, you can
Yes,
step
you're
from there
improv.
into the shot where
You
you are.
go with it? Okay. All right, so this is going to be improv out.
Okay.
They're going to be walking in
Be a
scene at this
character.
point.
That's all.
Make sure you project.
Ready, action.
Hey, look at you looking all fabulous today. How you going? How you working that girl? Oh, you got looking all good. What you cooking? I know you got something in the kitchen. You smell all good. Hey, you know you good today. Yeah, that's what we do. You don't say it's a plate? I'm on my plate first. I want my plate first.
I got you.
Okay.
Just sit down, stay a little longer.
Okay, I can do that. But let me ask you this.
Oh,
You got some brown liquor?
I got a little hand.
Good. I think you're going to be needed in a little bit. You're going to need it in a little bit.
I might have some water. You can go in the sink. Got some in the sink.
Girl, you know we trying to have a water house forever. If you do have some liquor, I think you might need to go and find it. Is it somewhere close by? Can you just get it? Yeah, girl, go get us three.
I didn't find the water either. So.
It's in the sink. You got it. Yeah,
I don't drink water from the sink, so. You don't have a bottle of water?
They do that. Okay, so listen here. How we gonna approach this? That's like, because I just want to talk. I don't even want to pussyfoot around it. I just want to say it.
We have to calm down.
What? I mean, it's our girl. What you tell me? Hey, girl. Oh, yeah, that's good. What your cup? You gotta make sure you got one. You gotta.
This is for her.
Okay.
Cold water.
Okay.
Something I put a little
Oh, okay. Go get yours. You got to have some liquor with you, girl. Don't make me drink.
I'm drinking right now.
Girl, you gonna need it. You gonna need this liquor. Yes. Okay, so what you mean? You do this soft? What you mean?
Ladies. Okay. So what's the occasion? What's up?
Well, we came by to tell you something.
Don't tell.
Your meal is not
What do you mean?
I thought that hurts.
Girl, she should have just let me tell you up front. I don't even know why she's trying to play with it. That man ain't who you think he is. Let me.
Wait a minute. So y'all drove all the way over here.
Yes.
You trying to tell me something about me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What is it? Girl, you know I'm your girl. I got your back. I'm gonna ride or die. I'm gonna be with you. And I wouldn't come over here if it wasn't something I really feel like you need to know.
Okay.
First of all, you ain't let him know nothing about your money. He ain't got no information on your account, right? You sure? You positive?
My money is my money.
Okay. All right. You make sure you ain't got none of your bank accounts, none of your account numbers.
What's going on?
Girl.
What is it?
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it.
Somebody say something.
Look, your man ain't who he say he is. Your man is wrapped up in a whole lot of stuff that's about to break free, like tomorrow. Like he about to get arrested tomorrow.
Well, how do you know? What is it?
Well, you know, I got my ear to the streets. You know, I hear things. You know, I got my ways. I got my ways on.
What is the problem?
Girl, he
What
is
is
about
wrong?
to be indicted for embezzling money.
And we just thought we would come and
You thought?
that you would play.
Yes. Yes, girl. Yes. Take it to the head. Take it to the head, huh? Yeah.
My man?
Yes, girl. Yes.
No. Let's rewind. How do you know this?
Girl, you know how many people I know? Everybody keep telling me. Everybody on the block talking about it. And smiling in your face, but ain't nobody telling you what's going on. So I just had to let my girl know. We can't have you going out like that. You got to know what's going on.
So now what?
You need to cut ties with this fool and make sure you don't know nothing about your money.
All right, pause. All right, so doing really well right now. See how the conversation is flowing. A lot of times on set, you know, when they have the privilege of having a set that they're operating on, they're able to move around on that set and use that a little bit. When there's the absence of a particular set, or we're using green screen to pull a set together, then they have to kind of work that out in their head as far as where they're going. Of course, we've got the couch and everything here. So in order to make it dynamic as an actor, part of it is that you have to move around the set. The other piece of it is making sure that you're opened up to the camera as well too. So just like if you're live on stage, you're opening up to the audience by turning towards the audience and presenting lines towards the audience. Even if you were to turn and walk away like this way, you're still opening up to the audience. You're not going to turn and put your back to the audience. Those are certain things as an actor that you want to make sure that you're doing in the process as well too, because that's going to make this whole scene flow a little bit better as well. So the movement on it is something that you want to use as part of the acting as well too. If your girls show up and be like, hey, let me tell you something about your man, you'd be like, I know you ain't talking about my man. That might be a piece that you move into, but the movement is an important part of it is what I'm saying. So I just wanted to pause it here so that we can get the guidance here for the camera, for the folks out here in viewership land. And now I'm going to let them dive right back into it. This is how the verbal cues work. Yes.
So let me add something.
And then Melvin's going to add something to it.
So Kyla, you're going to be a little bit more open in your blocking.
Okay.
So you'll be kind of here so that we're playing this camera perspective. The other thing that's really important, since they started pouring drinks, they was going in imaginary refrigerators. The other thing that's really important is the character development piece. So there's a lot of actors that miss the development side of their character, and they don't really take hold of it to be able to hold consistently. So we know Marlicia is kind of like first getting this news, and she's kind of ride or die about her man. And Latraia is kind of like, I'm your homie, I'm not letting this go down. And Kyla's playing kind of more of a supportive character. But inside of it, we still have to create balance, which means that your character, if you're going to come from a supportive standpoint, then you're going to say, you're going to probably be the devil's advocate. Well, I know you love him, girl. I know he been good to you, but Latraia's going to forget all that. And you have to, between these two performances, you have to make a decision on which side you're going. Remember, in Think, Feel, Act, we're letting you create on the fly because acting really comes from in here. The script is the easy part. Acting is what comes from in here. And you got to have your toolbox full in order to be able to perform. So I want you guys to go into that toolbox, and I want you to pull out characters, pull out references. If you're going to be the supportive one, you can be supportive, but girl, I think you really need to do this. You can ride with Mike if you want or not. You can be like, nah girl, I'm not letting you do it. I'm showing up at court tomorrow, I'm putting it all out there. Well, however you guys want to do it. But let's jump in and create balance, all right? Everybody ready? Questions? Make sure you project too. Here we go. Ready? And Treya's gonna take a step to her left. Action.
I can't believe that. Me and Mike, no, listen, I know Mike. We've been in this together for too long, and I don't feel like you would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a good relationship, a real good relationship. So I don't believe.
Sometimes relationships change,
But we do this together. We're growing together, y'all.
Do you know his friends?
Yeah.
Do you go to his house?
Yes.
How often do y'all
We go out every night. We spend all the time together. We're always on the phone. I just don't understand. When he's at work, I'm here.
Where he work? You been in his office? You seen his office?
Yes, I know everything.
What exactly does he do?
He's an accountant.
Accountant.
He accounting everybody's money. He accounting his money. He accounting your money. He accounting their money. He accounting this money. Girl, you to be blindsided. That's all I'm saying. I just
be
want you to
here
know
for
what's
you.
coming.
That's why we come in, letting you know something about your favorite.
You're saying something about it's not right, but you can't put your finger on it. You can't even tell me what's going on. You know,
She ain't even listening. She ain't.
she doesn't know. You say you know everything. How y'all gonna come over here and tell me about my man with no, y'all don't have full information?
Look, I'm telling you, the streets is talking.
What street you on?
I'm on all the streets. You know, I know everything and everybody in the city. Anybody who's anybody, you know I know. And if they come to me telling me about, oh, your girl better be careful. He better not be at her house tomorrow night because they following him. They better get him. It's trouble tomorrow.
What you mean
I'm
following?
telling you, girl. I'm telling you. You better cut ties. You better tell him you got a headache tonight. Don't you be nowhere with that dude tonight.
No. No.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Don't be with him tonight.
Freeze.
No.
Latraia, ask why is she so convinced or caught up in this man? All right, ready?
Okay.
Action. This is your stuff.
No, I can't. I'm just trying to be your girl. I'm trying to. Anyway, why are you so invested in this dude? Why can't you see what we're saying? Why you just determined to be standing by him? You ain't even trying to hear what we're saying.
It's like you take it up for him.
You got a hold of it. What is it?
He asked me to marry him.
Oh,
So we're going to be married. No man is going to just come and say that if he's not serious.
girl.
If he doesn't have anything to hide, everything's on the table.
Maybe.
Long enough, like 3 months.
Have you thought about maybe he's asking you to marry him? 3 months.
Say 3 months.
3 months. I cannot.
3 months and now you're trying to get married?
Girl,
You trying to marry somebody?
I see this. I see this. I see all the lights. I see all the lights. He trying to get married so he can have that money in your name. He gonna put you all up in the mix of this stuff. Girl.
You know, it sounds good, ladies, and I'm gonna let you have it, but I don't like that negativity in my house. So it's everything that y'all have going on. Maybe it's because you don't have a man. I'm sorry. But right now, I know that my man is good to me.
Well, we've
And
been
he
with our
takes
man,
care
or with our man for
And
years.
that's
You can't even
That's
pretend for
fine,
3
love.
months.
That's
she done
fine.
tried.
That's fine. And like I said, at the end of the day, I'm going to stand by my man. That's it. So you can finish the rest of your little drinks, and then you can leave.
You know, and I love to end it right there with a sister standing by her man, because see, that's what this world is about. Standing by your, I'm just joking. It got real crazy right there. All right. So look, let's break this scene down a little bit. I think they did a wonderful job, and Kyla did a wonderful job stepping up on her.
How long you been married? 3 months. 3 months.
It's so lovely to have people who are so gracious like these people. They're like the queens of Zamunda. Thank you.
At first I was kind of like, I don't know what to say, but you know.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What was your first, this is your first improv really experience, kind of throwing you in the mix of it. Where were you at with it? How did you feel about
I
it?
just kind of felt like, okay, what am I supposed to say? You're talking about him laundering money and stuff, so I'm trying to like think.
What does that mean?
I know I'm supposed to be a quiet girl, and I don't want to just jump out there, so it's like that's why I stay quiet, you know. But
Marvin, so give her the think, feel, act of what she's trying.
So here's the deal. And each character, when they came up, had a different position that they were playing. Quiet girl, more aggressive, stand by your man, kind of, I'm where I'm supposed to be, right? So in the mix of it, as you mix all of this together, they have to be able to fit well and play off of each other. So if she was playing that quiet girl, that subdued girl, her thinking in order to be there, especially based on the information she has, might be, well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought, or I don't really want to hurt my girl by telling her anything that she don't need to know, or all of those other things involved in the thinking may associate with that feeling that, hey, I feel really kind of bad for what's happening and I don't want to be a part of any more negativity, right? And in action, how that plays off, and I see her kind of playing it right now, is a very subdued kind of hands here. There are a lot of different things, even when you're standing and doing monologues, that you can do in order to display a certain emotion. So like when you're standing with your hands kind of crossed like this, and you don't move, that looks more authoritative. When your hands are folded or like this and you're rocking, that displays a little bit of nervousness, like my turn, I'm waiting to jump in, almost like double dutch. If you put your hand kind of here, that's more of the thinking. A lot of people associate that with thinking. Oh, they're thinking about what they're going to do. If you put your hand here and you're moving a little bit, that's thinking as well, but that also could come off as nervousness. So there are different postures that you can pull off that lead to the acting, that lead to the demonstration of the emotion as well too. All right, let's dive right back into this a little bit. Thank you so much, Kyla, for your representation. Let's go with Marlicia. Marlicia was like, she was on her position. I ain't gonna move. Don't be coming up in my house talking about my man. It took me a long time to get this man. I'm joking.
He's a good man.
He's a good man. Tell me about where you were going with this and how did you anchor to your character?
Just being able to see that neither one of them were going to tell him this is it. You just need to break up with him.
There was nothing they would be able to tell you
No.
in that regard.
There's
Okay.
nothing.
All right, all right. And then, so how did you play that out? Because there's some pretty hard stuff at the table. What was it that made you absorb that thing that hit the table? And
Reality of the situation and knowing a couple people who've been in this situation
Okay.
where they had to, I was the treasurer, I had to compensate for manage this, whatever, and understanding that everything is not everything.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm your friend. I'm gonna ride for you, but you still need to hear the truth.
So you used a little bit of your backstory in order to create here. Excuse me, Zach, please. You use a little bit of your backstory to help you anchor into this character right here. Beautiful thing, beautiful thing. And it also blends really well with what was happening with Kyla's character as well too. It almost gave you an opportunity to kind of ally with that quietness a little bit. And then last but not least, we had Latraia come in. Yes. Come on.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mico White, come on out, Mico. Mico's doing some bang-up job right here at Inkwell. We are proud to have the brother rocking with us over here on the Inkwell side. Mico, yes.
He's so cool. He is so freaking cool.
All right, Marvin, here we go. Okay, gotcha. Right, so we're gonna run that one more time?
Yes.
We're gonna run that one more time? We're gonna run that back a little bit one more time? Go back in?
Are we doing this again? Are you wrapping it up?
Yeah, I was gonna wrap it.
Oh, I lied. Never mind.
Okay. So right here, Latraia, you played the aggressive character in this, the aggressive role. Where were you coming from with that?
I am very familiar with people who are very opinionated and very strong personalities and don't believe in soft shooting.
Gotcha.
Just get right to the point, and I was just approaching it from the angle of, look, I ain't got time to play with you. I love you, girl. I'm not gonna let you go through this. So
No.
I need to be aggressive with you to make you understand how important this is, and that's what I'm doing.
Now, every character had a cue before they came up as far as where they were going. You're kind of a little soft shoe, you're a little bit more aggressive. Was there anything in those cues that helped you lock in any part of what someone said, what Mico gave you, or Melvin or myself gave you that helped you to lock into your characters at all? That's a general question. Or was there anything that was said that triggered you from something either that you've gone through in the past, someone else, a friend, or something that helped you lock into this character?
I have a friend that's just very forthcoming. If she's thinking it's falling out of her face, however it comes out.
Wow.
You just know, I know she loves me. I know it's coming from a good place, so I don't get offended.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it really is about that. It's about kind of mimicking that behavior that you've seen before that fits really well into the character, at least to get you started off and get you moving in a particular direction. I do that a lot when it comes down to particular characters that I want to portray, and I'll have favorite characters, of course, but sometimes, when I get up, I'm acting as if, and that's a real thing. Sometimes in life you got to act as if, sometimes on stage you got to act as if, you got to be in the character, and that's the main thing I want you to lock in on. Even though you're using those personal experiences, those other things in the background that make you who you are in order to lock in on the emotion, be in the character at all times. Make sure that you are locked into the character, who the character's supposed to be and who they're supposed to be inside of the scene as well too. Don't lose yourself in a character where you're portraying something that's not real to the circumstance and it becomes more about you. I remember there's one particular play, and I'm gonna throw it out here just in case she's watching. We were doing this stage play, and Wanda Beckham, she just, hey Wanda, I hope you're watching. But anyway, she was on stage, we were doing this one particular scene, and in that scene, she's supposed to come out, and her character's name is Sarah. She's supposed to come out and say, everybody's worried about this. What about Sarah? What about Sarah? But when she hit the stage and she goes into her rant, she's like, everybody's worried about this person and that. What about Wanda? What about Wanda? And it was hilarious. She missed it. She walked off stage. So the actor, who was Jackie Mosley, hey Jackie, if you watching, Jackie recovered by saying, every time she get mad, she used her middle name. And the whole audience rolled because they picked up on the mistake and they were in on the inside joke. Don't get lost in the character, but there are ways to recover, especially on live stage.
One thing, let me add one thing. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Let me add one thing also. A lot of actors go from think to act. A lot of actors go think to act. What do I need to do? And then they take the scripts and do. The feeling piece is about not only convincing the audience, but convincing yourself. So when you have to develop a character, you need to be convinced inside yourself of who that character is, of all the principles that go along with it, what that character does and executes, how she's feeling, because it makes it easier to transfer that emotion. If you go just to think, to act, then you're just kind of going robotically, you're just kind of going through the script, and a lot of times you can miss the audience by doing that. So make sure you feel it just as much as you perform. All right?
That's wonderful, Melvin. That was beautiful. Give Melvin a hand. The way that he said that, that was just a beautiful way to do it.
Next! Let's do it.
So let's pull together the next scene. Thank them again for joining us in this piece. Woo! We're going to pull together another scene.
Strong J. Strong J.
Now, this last scene that we're going to be doing here, let's pull it together.
Marvin, let's do couple marriage is changing you. So let's put two couples together. They're joining. They're going over to the house for a dinner party, kind of to hang out. First time getting together since they've been married, and his boy is convinced, bro, you changed. Where you been? We don't hang out no more. We don't do the things we used to do, that kind of thing. So the ladies will need them for entrance and exit, and then we let the fellas have kind of the dialogue. You with me?
Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and set that up. Exactly what Melvin said. So we're going to need
two guys,
two females. So we're going to have. It's just so hard to choose. Okay. Who's up? Okay, come on. Anybody? Whoever's ready.
Come on now.
Come on up, Steph. Come on up. Yo, y'all are fighting. Come on up, Felicia. Come on, Jaime. Let's do it. All right, so what we got here is we got two couples. They're showing up, kind of couples get together at the house, the whole piece of it. One of their boys has gotten married recently, and this whole scenario, So once the ladies kind of migrate out, he's talking about married life, but his boy's a little displeased that since you got married, marriage is kind of changing you a little bit. We ain't doing stuff we used to do. We're not hanging out the way we used to hang out. What's up? And it's not that he's trying to talk him off the ledge from his marriage, but he's trying to get him to lock in the fact that he was a person before he was married.
Hey Marvin, let me throw this out real quick. Your brother and your sister are watching, debating whether or not this is live. Anthony and Latraia.
So my brother and my sister, Anthony up in Chattanooga, and my sister over in where's that in Texas?
In Austin.
In Austin, not Austin, outside of Austin though. It's about 45 minutes outside of Austin. El Paso. Are in Texas, and they're debating whether or not this is live. This is live. This is what we're about. This is what we do right here live. So I thank you guys for watching. Love you guys, man. Miss you. We're going to have to get together real soon. But yes, this is absolutely live. Okay. So.
And we got to add one more thing to the scenario. In order for this to be more encouraging to the, you're not this, that, we got to get a third wheel, a person that's single.
Okay.
a male,
Okay.
you.
What I mean?
Yes, because you're the best. They need to know the real acting skills.
Change it.
All right. All right, so we're going to set it up, but I'm going to add myself into the equation here. Add myself in as a third wheel. So once the fellas start talking and generating their conversation, then I can dive in as well too. We've already assigned each of the characters as far as where they're at. This is improv, but it's improv, a little bit more directive improv. So you were looking for the same things that we talked about before. You're looking for the translation of the emotions, the feelings. Is it real? Do you feel it? You're looking for all of those things. You guys go ahead and shift this way a little bit so that you're directly on scene.
Take about half a step forward, everybody.
And half a step forward. Boom, right there. And okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let them start before I jump into the mix of things, but that's what this is. I want you guys to watch it, and then we'll wrap it back on the back end, talk a little bit about how they translated their characters and created them into the characters that you see on screen. So here we go. Thanks for joining us here. Inkwell Pictures, Think, Feel, Act. Let's get it.
Think, feel, act. Set up the intro, Marvin, them coming in, how they're gonna come in. So you guys are coming in as a couple. And then you know how the ladies do. They go, oh girl, let me go show you the rest of the house, and then you guys can come off. And the fellas are having a conversation about you changing, man.
All right, so it's you guys' house. So you guys will come to the door.
So you guys are
door
like,
bringing
you
in.
both are married, okay? But y'all are going to the house.
Yeah,
So it's like, since he's been married, he don't do what he's.
Just
Here we go.
Touch his hat. Just his hat. Just a man's hat. There we go.
Doorbell rings. Boom, boom, bing, bong. Boom, boom. Hey, what's happening, man?
Hey.
What was that?
How y'all doing? How you doing? Ooh, I like that shit. Hey, how are you? Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Where the views from?
Hey, what's up? Where the party at? Oh, man. What's up, man? What's good?
Nice sweater, man.
Hey, what up? Y'all done bring a friend for me? See, man, I know. See, y'all. That's why y'all don't be inviting me to your little parties every day.
You know that my homegirls like you.
All of your girlfriends. That's what the problem is. We'll talk about that later. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, man, this is a real nice place, man. The crib, y'all done a whole lot to it, man. I really like it. It is hot. Hey, man, you know, I just do a little something every time. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they give me that chip off. I mean, tell us the truth, man. What's married life like, man? 'Cause I'm thinking of making a jump myself.
It's real good. You know, it's lovely.
All right. Hey, look, man, it must be lovely. We ain't seen you around, you know, the bowling alley. We ain't seen you around the pool, shooting pool no more. You don't golf. I mean, what's going on, bro? You trying to, you know, get ahead of the game on that baby thing?
You know how it is, man. I've been locked down. Yeah, you've been on lock. You've been on lock lately. I mean, you don't like going fishing no more. We don't go to the Rays games.
But wait.
You go now and you see him at church no more.
I know, brother Jamie, I'm not trying to push on my man to get it negative necessarily, but what Jamie is saying is kind of true. You haven't really been.
Man, Playboy changed, man. He's changing, man. I'm gonna tell you females and mess you with, bro.
Wait. There's nothing wrong with changing as long as he's changing for the better. Brother, are you changing for the better?
Man, come on, man. He knew how she was. He knew how she was before he married her. I mean, no Captain Sable type of man.
Whoa.
What's really going on?
Whoa.
I thought we were better than that. It ain't like that, man. I mean, I'm just saying, I hate to see you. Like, she got your mind. I mean, brother, really?
Listen,
I mean, you even changing how you dressing. I mean, you used to have your little jerseys on and everything, man. You look like your head president or something. You know what I'm saying? Man, what's really going on like a pill?
Hey, man, this is, but you gotta admit, this is clean mode, man. Look, man, I ain't mad at you, brother.
This is going on, man. You know, you know how it is. I grew up to start doing certain things. You know, my baby Felicia, you know, just try to do
So wait a minute, Jaime. Wait, man. I mean, you came in, you got your lady. You and Steph been hanging out for a number of years now, man, and now he's happy with his girl, man. I mean, you know.
But he changing, brother. I mean, I still hang out with you.
That's true.
You know, you answer the phone when I call.
That is
You know
true.
what I'm saying? We used to have our little weekly meetings. We have our happy hour. We go up and talk and kick the ball. Man, he ain't on none of that. No
You know
more.
what? It's the
Man, we've
thing.
been coming out the sandbox. We always said, the three of us, would never allow marriage or nothing to come between us.
We
now,
did
he done
say
got
that.
married, man. He don't even come to church no, bro.
It ain't even just that, man. Business, you know, somebody let you go, people be calling me, man, I'm always working, dude. It ain't even like
Maybe you doing all this work because this big old nice house that you done got put together, bro. I ain't mad at you.
You know, with things going on in the world right now, people be calling me, I'm always.
Man, I just, man, we just.
Hey, listen, man,
we just missing you.
I'm just-
I just miss you, dog.
That's what I was gonna say, man. You know, we just missing the company, you know, but the thing that we might make a mistake of is not being happy for you, brother. And I'm just saying, I am happy for you, even though her game has become our loss.
Man, I ain't happy for him. He done changed. He changed. He can't be this happy. Come on.
Come on, man, you know we sincere, come on, man, it ain't like that, come on, man.
Man, I just call him always.
This is boy talk, come on.
Well, listen, I think we should have some balance.
Cut. That was good. That was good. I like how y'all did that.
See how I stopped in character
Yeah,
just like that?
yeah.
I just paused off.
Like, so how do you feel? How do you feel about being the third wheel now? How do you feel about the role in that? Where you felt like you were the peacemaker, or you felt like you won that green hat?
Yeah, I felt like I was the peacemaker because I was trying to bridge both of what they were saying. I was trying to give validity to what was being said on this side and validity was being said on this side, which made me the peacemaker. If I would have gone too far left, too far right, then I would have automatically aligned myself with one or the other, which is why I was kind of bouncing back and forth between the both of them. And that a lot of times is the power that's being displayed in situations as well too. It's oftentimes not the person who pushes back and yells the hardest, it's the person who has the equal relationship with the most people in the scenario as well too.
There you go. Because it does feel like that when he heard you talking, he felt like, you know what, he's right. And that's when he started throwing guns at him.
Yeah.
But he was defending himself, but still, probably as a friend. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of him still being friendly about it, and you guys are going to invite them for him to go to a strip club tonight. Like, come on,
Okay.
come hang out for old time's sake. Go to the strip club. I don't know my girl. Come on, man. You don't do that. And we'll see how that works out in there.
But you're trying to keep it from your wives. So
Of
if you hear
course,
them,
yeah.
if you hear them call to say anything about what you're doing, y'all trying to keep it on the low. All right?
Alright, so listen fellas, I'm gonna tell you right now, coming over here tonight, I knew that your girls were gonna be hanging out, doing their thing, they're gonna be back there in their little she sheds, talking for the next couple of hours, which I figure puts us in a position where we can maybe go hang out. Let you redeem yourself a little bit,
That's-
brother.
that's what
So
I'm
what
talking
I got in mind,
Strip club called Piggly Wiggly.
what I got in mind, bruh, going over to the Pink Diamond, dog.
Piggly Wiggly.
Yes,
Woo!
sir. Yes, sir.
The Piggly Wiggly. Come on, man. Piggly Wiggly Strip Club, man. Come on now. You know, it was an old Piggly Wiggly grocery store. They closed it down, turned it into a strip club.
I gotta work tomorrow.
God, you gotta work tomorrow. Bro, you gotta work tonight, man. What you talking about? Hey, man, come on now.
I had a long day today. I gotta work in the morning. I got an early job to work.
Man, look, but they playing all future songs over there, brother. Come on. Look, there ain't no time like the present. I'm gonna tell you what, man, and this is what happens. You brothers, man, y'all get locked up into these relationships, which I'm totally supportive of, and the next thing you know, you stop being who you are, man. I'm telling you, one night for you to go out for an hour or two, it ain't like we gotta drop thousands, bro. We just, you know what I'm saying? We just drop. Look, man, go get you a roll of quarters. $10 worth of quarters, man, to be good over at the strip club.
It sounds good, bro. It all sounds good. I gotta work. All this.
Ain't got nothing to do with it.
Now, you know that girl you used to kick it with back in the day? So she's still up there. dog.
That's right.
Who? You talking about?
Penelope, dog. Yeah, I never met a stripper who used her real name, but Penelope was it, dog. Let me tell you.
Cherokee and
Pinky, listen, bro. I'm telling you,
Fat the devil.
it's just for
Babe,
What's up, baby?
we going tomorrow to the antique place? You remember I want to pick,
Yeah.
we going?
Let's get off. Let's go.
Alright.
Hey, I thought she took tomorrow.
Did you took tomorrow off, right? So we can ride too then,
I
right?
got an early job. I got an early job to take in the morning first. We'll do it after.
dog.
Sound like
Do you have the day off tomorrow?
See how what all that trouble got in his voice when she called me.
I saw you in the house.
Changed it, man. All that falsetto in your voice.
I got a lead job. I got a lead job,
She
though.
got over you,
That's
man.
real play.
Y'all gonna think about this?
That's real play. Listen, man, here's the main thing. Only thing I'm gonna say, man, is that you, as a man, should be able to go out and hang out when you want. I'm not speaking bad about your relationship or anything like that. What I'm saying.
Keisha was saying that people want tickets tomorrow. Can we go too?
First
I
of
wanna
all,
go. I saw this nice little vintage vase. I wanna get, you know how like my vase is.
girl, you was on notice. I'm in here talking to my
On notice? What is
Leaning
that?
over. Leaning over.
I wanna go antiquing with
I
you.
tell you what, just give me a second, let me holler at my homeboy, and then I'll get right back with you. You
What
understand
y'all
me?
talking about?
We talking about doing something nice for y'all.
Oh,
Just hold you
doing something nice.
So nice, we probably told like Busch Gardens or something. It's COVID-19.
Okay, but what about tomorrow for the antique shop? Can we go to the antique shop too?
Yeah. Why don't y'all go to the antique shop tomorrow? I think that'd be a real good idea.
Y'all welcome to ride along. Yeah, we'll make it off.
Yeah, y'all can ride together and pick up antique plates, cups, and stuff like that. Oh, that's real play right there, man. That's real play. It's real funny how you standing in here and you talking to my man. You need to do that. Then she walk up and tell us, hey, girl, let me come up here and walk it up on me. Come on, bro. That's a real play that you did there right there.
The difference, y'all said she's on notice. Did you see how I talked?
Yeah, I saw how you did. She was on, but you was like, hey, you don't know
Nah, I
this.
play what?
You brought that down a little bit.
Brother, I walk it like I talk.
See, this is why I'm not married yet. I'm not married yet because both of y'all brothers are changing. You used to be like, hey girl, what? Right? That's how you work.
Because they not feeling them Stacey Adams. That's why they.
So you about to play me now? That's what it is. Look, I'm just saying right now that both of y'all.
Hey, can you take that chicken out in about 10 minutes? Don't let it burn.
All right, but
Okay.
Oh no.
Thank you.
No. You putting people on notice so that y'all can go to the antique store.
No.
You taking chickens out the oven? This ain't no part of my dog, bro. I'm out. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, if you ever got me taking chickens out the oven or going antiquing, put me out of my misery. See. I shouldn't even see. I ain't even supposed to be up there. I ain't even supposed to be in there. All right. So listen, let's bring the ladies back up as well too. They did a really great job. Give them a hand also. A lot of folks up in the mix here. Really enjoying it tonight here, man. Really enjoying it. Even though it feels like we got a gang of people in here, even though we don't have a gang of people.
We don't. We sure don't. We follow all.
One thing I want to say with this particular improv that it's really good. The movement in it was really good. Sometimes it's hard to be in it and kind of observe in it as well too. But that being said, especially with improv, when you're in it, you have to be able to really observe well so that you can pick up on the verbal cues, you can respond to the emotions in a realistic way. So improv, more than anything else that's scripted, you definitely have to be locked in and ready for what's going to happen and what's happening in the scene. So you guys, tell me a little bit about where you were, your translations, who were in the scene. Let's start with the ladies first. Then we got to get on these fellas here, man, because they were carrying it here. I know you did have so much to say. Stephanie got into it and was like, he's like, you won't notice. She was like, I know, she's like, there was a term she wasn't familiar with. Notice? What? They turned the lights off? She didn't know what they were.
Like screw some get that crazy eye.
So let's talk about the crazy eye a little bit, Stephanie. When you came in, first scene, kind of hooked up with your girl, real calm, casual evening. Tell me a little bit about your presentation.
I mean, this is my homegirl's house, you know what I mean? So I'm sure that we have like a good relationship. So I came in, all smiles, all happy-go-lucky. This is my man, so I let him do what he does with the fellas. I don't like him checking me in front of other people. So
yeah, we saw that. I saw that jump. I was like, acting, it's acting.
right. And then that's the thing too with doing improv. You kind of have to forget yourself and think only about the character that you're presenting. Because Stephanie would have been like, oh, who are you talking to? You know what I mean? But in this circumstance, I'm hanging out with my girl. I'm not involved in what they got going on.
That's a great point with improv as well too, because a lot of times improv, you're being yourself instead of locking into a character because of the fact you have to create it. And that's why it's really important for you to have that ability to create inside of a character, no matter whether it's script or improv, so that you're not you. You can use elements of you to develop a character, but it's not you. And to remember that will help you go far in this. Now, you took some shots at the third wheel, me, when I showed up and the whole thing. You took some shots at me as well, which was really good because it helped anchor me into the scene and anchor me into the relationship and what was going on. It wasn't like I'm some unfamiliar dude, third wheel who just showed up. It just was like we were all friends. We kind of were all a part of that. So that was a good way to throw that in there and anchor me to the scene. Felicia, what you got?
So with me, since we were hosting the event, and I wanted to...
I didn't get no drink either. You hosting an event? How you hosting a party?
Your homeboy didn't... Okay. So, my role was to kind of be annoying dominant of him, kind of, so I'm like making sure he looks nice and, you know, just kind of guiding him, but I wanted to really portray that control. Like, I want his hat to be perfect. I want him to, everyone to perceive that he is this perfect guy because I made him that way.
And you knew we were going in a direction that we were going to kind of take shots at and about to change. So was that the foundation you built on?
To play up. So play up those things. Oh, this is what she's making you do. She's created this. You don't even do this. Now look at her fixing his hat.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, hey, a lot of you guys don't know. I don't even know if she's going to be mad at me for saying so, but Felicia actually just landed something in regard to casting. You want to talk to the audience a little bit about what you landed there?
Yes, I will be in a production with Carolwood Players. It will be a virtual production. It will air June the 5th, 6th, and 7th. So, tune in.
Yeah. Hey, look. It's about being busy, getting yourself engaged and involved in different things. Making sure a lot of times when you move from one director to another as you're operating out here, it helps you to be able to really broaden your platform, things like that. So I want to encourage you guys, stay busy, stay moving, stay checking out a lot of different organizations. If you haven't checked out Inkwell Pictures as of yet, hey, we're open. Hit us up via email, via text, see what we're working on, see if you can play a part in that. All right, so the ladies, they did their thing for sure. Fellas, let's talk. I know it was a little difficult having me up here as well, too, kind of working within that, and I was trying not to dominate the scene too much. But tell me a little bit, fellas. I'm going to start right over here. Give me your name one more time, brother. Lorenzo. Got it. Lorenzo, tell me where you were at with this. Now, last week, you were playing kind of that similar character, that calm, kind of casual brother a little bit, in the sense you caught your girl in the strip club last time. We trying to get you to go to the strip club this time. I don't know what Melvin's thing is about strip club right now. But
Make it rain!
I digress. Lorenzo, tell me a little bit about where your character was at.
You married, got a wife, you got your fellows, you're still trying to be your fellows, but at the same time, always say, happy wife, happy life.
Come on now, happy wife, happy life, right?
Somebody come
So you were trying to keep it balanced between the two, recognize, respect the relationship with your wife and kind of where you're at, but also try and make your boys happy. You want to get played over with your boys.
You can't come together, so you still, they know you, but at the same time, you're trying to play.
Yeah. Now Jaime, he was hitting it hard in here, man. Jaime was no joke, boy. I saw the eyebrow raise up a little bit, and I was like, is this real? I was really like, it intimidated me a little bit. Jaime, tell me, man, where you were going with this in here, man?
Well, like she said,
Wait, just bring it down a little bit.
He's a good guy,
Right.
and she's trying to dominate him and change him.
Yeah.
And she don't need to do all that.
Now you were hitting this. I mean, when I say you were hitting it hard, I mean you were on cylinder. Where were you drawing this from? Was this a personal thing, or was it you really being cued into the?
No, they feel that.
They feel that.
Good answer. Good
Feeling acting. That's how it works up in this piece right here. Come and get you some. Get a part of this. Right.
Hey, where did putting you on notice come from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I heard that either. He said, you on notice.
When Jaime said I put you on notice, I was like, ooh, it felt good hearing it. I started to write that one down. I'm about to tell somebody that right now. I mean, we're going to have to talk later if there are certain settings you can use that. You don't want to walk up on your boss, I'm putting you on notice. What? Marvin, what? What's happening?
Marvin, shoe contract.
in the belly of the beast in Pelican Bay. What? What is he talking about? Why is he yelling? He really had it dug in. He really did. Now, my character, I kind of came in and I was trying to play an even voice between both sides of it. I was trying to recognize where my boy's at, and I was trying to recognize where my boy's at. He's comfortable, he's happy, he's in the happy life. You're doing that too. And I was trying to keep it really balanced between the two of that. And I think that's what kind of helped the dynamics of it go. I hope that you guys, in seeing this, recognize it as being authentic and real to what we were creating inside the characters. Because that's really the most important thing, is that it's something that is believable. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well too.
Well, you can say that instead of
Jet airplane?
Yeah. So we're gonna do one last scene. One last scene. We hope you enjoy this. 2-person jet airplane is where we're gonna be in this particular one. In this particular scene, we have a star, an absolute movie star, who's playing the role. She's in her private jet, but she's in her private jet with her boyfriend, who doesn't quite make as much money as she does, and he's starting to feel an average dude, and he's starting to feel a little bit some kind of way about it, and they get into this discussion. So we're going to set that up for you in just a second. Give them a hand for pulling this together. Thank you guys. To walk off there, we're going to set up for the next scene here, which will be our final scene, which will be the jet plane. We'll be back in just a second. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. I think he said Marvin.
Marvin's broken. Marvin's. And then he gets. You need some help?
Is that right, Bill?
Yep, and just pull the excess back.
How's this one, Will?
Yeah, you good.
Hey, we a team in this piece. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, y'all never did tell me, like, what, I know, but y'all didn't tell me, like, what I'm doing. Am I like,
Nah, you good.
trying to force him to do something? What am I doing?
So your whole thing is you're wet. So Latraia, you guys have been dating, and he's an average guy. And you are very wealthy and that kind of thing, and he's kind of a change of pace for you.
Okay.
And now you want to take things to the next level. And for the last couple of months, you've been flying in places and buying things and all this other stuff. He ain't been working. He's just been kind of rolling along with you. And now he's feeling kind of some kind of way, kind of less than a man, kind of like, yo, wait a minute. How am I going to get into this to be kept in a real relationship?
Who's the dude?
He doesn't want to proceed with things the way they are. So you're saying, hey, you're making these plans about next stuff y'all want to do. And he's kind of like, I want to be a man. I want to be a man. I don't want to be kept. And you're kind of giving him some ultimatums that this is my lifestyle. If you want me, you have to accept this. And let's see where the scene goes.
Am I like aggressive? Like, you gotta do this, you gotta wear this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this.
Yeah, just be yourself. Yeah, just be yourself.
I don't know if that was good or bad.
Yeah, me either.
Let the flow of the scene come together. I'm gonna let you guys sit first, and then I'm gonna let you
Marvin's personality is supposed to be.
Marvin is, I mean, he met her and he's cool, and they've had a great time, but now over a period of a couple of months, with her flying him all over the place, paying for everything, he's starting to feel kind of kept. Like, I'm losing my identity as a man. Like, he had a job when they met, but
I still do as a consultant, but I haven't been working on that a lot because, you know.
Marvin's so retired.
Wait, I still got a job.
I ain't been here 4.5 months.
All right, Trey, and you can sit,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna convert it.
Oh,
Can I,
okay.
my booty on my
Can we have Marvin be a little more, when he talks, well, actually, I should say it's Marvin.
His character, go ahead.
His character when he talks, I want you to be a little more, what's the right word? Very, very patient when you talk.
Patience when I talk.
Yeah, very
Trey,
patient when you
sit
talk.
back just a tad.
More like, you know,
Marvin,
like appreciate it, but you also like, you know, saying feel
No.
bad, kind of so like, you know, yeah, like that. All right.
Am I like?
I don't want her to feel, yeah, you don't want her to feel bad But you feel bad because you're in this situation, like, you know what I'm saying?
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know,
That's
yeah, a
good.
little bit.
Well, yeah.
We lost her off the.
I lost her a little?
I need to scoot over?
No.
Now Marvin's up.
Yeah.
Do I need to come in? Son?
No, hold on. Because we adjusted the camera.
Do I need to come over something?
Marvin, yeah, move.
How we looking
over.
now?
Happening.
Hold on, nobody move. Just stay with the tape. Where we at now?
She's off to the left a little bit.
Okay.
Switch from me.
Yeah.
You do it to our.
That's good.
It's good? Oh, okay. Good. See, look how, see how good I am. Like, it's like, hey.
And then Trey, I think we gotta either zoom, maybe tighten in a little bit or something, because they look too forward of the shot that we created. Yeah, that's what it was, right there. Down. Yep.
A little more?
And angle it just slightly.
Slide to where?
Other way. Other way. Right there. Yep. Right there. Perfect.
Director of photography, I'm just saying.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right. So you guys have just gotten on this flight. You're getting ready to buckle up and take your flight. And the conversation happens where Latraia starts to talk about her plans for you guys for the next couple of months. And you start kind of going down the aisle, wait a minute, you're kind of controlling everything. All right, stand by for sound effects.
This is Savage. The flight will be taking off in just a couple of minutes, and we'll have flight service. In a couple of moments, we have your caviar in the rear of the cabin. That was my Caucasian.
So, you ready for your first trip to Dubai?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not my first trip. I was there on business about 2 years ago, but didn't really get a chance to enjoy it. So, yeah.
Well, we're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna be there for an entire month.
Whole month?
Yeah. You know, it's gonna take about a month to do everything I wanna do. And maybe some of the stuff you wanna do. What do you wanna do?
So it's not a month?
Yeah.
Man, I just never thought that I'd be in a situation where I'd be off my gig for a month.
Oh, baby, it's okay. I got you.
Actually, it's not okay.
What's not okay?
Look, baby, I don't want to come off like I'm unappreciative. I mean, who can fly around the world and go to different places whenever they want? And I'm real appreciative of that. And that is something that I separate totally from the relationship that we had. But I'm kind of feeling like...
What are you saying?
You know, I'm a man, you know what I mean? I'm used to working, like every day, like supporting and doing the things that I need to do. And I mean, when's the last time we went out on a real like date out to eat some dinner? The whole thing. We had security. We had to go in first. We sat in the back. We had to leave late. I mean,
Honey.
it's just not. It's a lot.
Look. You are here because I love you. I don't care about you having to work or you not working.
I know, but I do. I just wish there was something I could do to feel more like the man in this situation.
But you are the man, you're my man. And my man can handle anything he wants, go anywhere he wants to go, like we're gonna do today. And be there for it. Oh my. And you don't have to worry about anything.
But that's just it. I'm a man. I should be worried about something. I mean, the last time we were out at the club thing, the opening that you did, and then the dude who stepped up out of the audience, and then I, of course, step up like, hey, don't come approaching, and then what happened? 12 security guys jumped in and jumped on the dude. I could have handled that whole situation.
I know, and please, don't take it as your manhood being challenged. It's just something that you don't have to do. You know, you had to work hard all your life. And if I can afford to give you something that doesn't cost me anything, I wouldn't to do that. I love you like
Yeah,
that.
but it's about what I can do for you. I mean, don't you want something that's a little more simple in life? Have you ever said, I mean, I bet you've never had a fried bologna sandwich, have you?
A what?
That's what I'm talking about. A fried bologna sandwich with some eggs and some mayonnaise on some white bread toasted on one side.
Are you trying to die tomorrow?
See, that's
Oh
what
my
I'm talking
God.
about. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and fix you a fried bologna sandwich. Or go walk in the park. Or go out to a movie without being mobbed. Or anything associated like that. Like sitting on the couch and just watching Netflix or something.
Latraia,
I get that.
freeze. Latraia, is this because, are you having a problem because I make more money than you?
Okay.
Ready? Action.
Are you having a problem because I make more money than you? Is it just about the money?
No, it's not about the money. It's about how the money makes me feel. You
Well,
understand what I'm saying? Part of doing this, part of this life, even part of the way that when we met that I liked you was the whole carefree attitude that you took with certain things. It was your ability to even let go of some things and let me do some things. Now it's like, this isn't the world we created together. I'm kind of immersed into your world. And nothing's wrong with that sometimes. But maybe you can come over to my world sometimes. With them fried bologna sandwiches.
I'm willing to come to your world. But what does that look like? What would it
Well,
take
it
for
definitely
me?
don't look like taking a trip for a month. The brother's got to work and do some other stuff. You gotta break that down. Like, I mean, normal people go on trips for like a week or two after they ask their boss and put in for their PTO and they said no the first couple of times.
So can we compromise for this trip and then maybe we can discuss other trips?
Freeze. Marvin, give her a list of normal things that you want your lady to do. Ready?
You know what?
Trace and character. Ready?
Okay.
Action.
I can
Am I
compromise.
opposed to these things or?
We'll see.
Oh Jesus, okay.
I could compromise on this particular trip, but I want us to get down and do some normal stuff, maybe like taking walks like in the park, or like washing dishes together. And I ain't talking about having the maid do it and put it in the dishwasher. I'm talking about me standing there, I wash, you rinse.
Wait. Now are you talking about me putting my hands in some dirty, murky water? Like in the water?
Yeah.
Oh.
What are you doing? Listen, there's nothing like washing your own dishes and putting them away, especially if you're doing it with your man. I'll make it fun. And other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like when we driving somewhere, we actually drive and we don't have a driver. And like when we need gas, I get out and I pump the gas. Or like, simple stuff.
Okay.
Like me burning up the chicken and you complaining about it, and we have to order out.
Okay. All of those seem to be pretty reasonable.
You sure?
I can't see that.
Oh, I got it. And this is one. What about using the public bathroom? I mean, just one time, if we could just, we out, you gotta go. It doesn't have to be any arranged hotel room. I mean, the last time you had to use the bathroom and you rented the hotel room just so you could use the bathroom, I think was a little bit of
Yes. No.
Look, I ain't talking about you bare butt in the toilet seat. You can wrap it up with toilet paper.
Wrap up with some toilet paper. Who does that?
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
Oh, God.
Listen. All right. Maybe the public bathroom is a little bit of a step. But when a brother gotta go, I gotta go.
Well, it's a little easy for you. I gotta do this, then, and shit. Not about your Kool-Aid. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a little different, baby. I mean, please. I mean, at least give me that. Give me that.
All right. Okay. But if we can compromise on all the trips and stuff and just do some normal, regular stuff, you never know. You might like the regular stuff.
You think so?
hey, you might like it. I mean, you've never spent the night over my house. You might like sleeping in a full bed versus that king size, whatever thing you got at your house. That way we'd be a little closer.
We could be a little closer. I think that sounds like a good idea.
Cool.
This ain't real. This some hustling with bull crap.
And sing!
Black people don't act like this shit.
That's right, because black people ain't sitting on private jets talking about their wife who's doing and they not and all they, hey, good at.
So break it down, break it down.
So listen, where I was going with this, and this was one of those scenes that, you know, I knew I was paired up with someone who could really, really act, but someone also who can go in directions that I really just didn't have an idea of where she was going to go with it or what she might say.
I played safe.
So she played it safe because I was trying to play it real like even, so I have a lot of room to kind of go with in this particular scene. So Trey, tell me where you were with this scene. Did you have any divas that you may travel with that you, drew from in order to create this character?
No, but I do know what people always perceive as who, number one, black women are. And also successful black women. There's always an assumption of who we are or how you are, you know, so I just wanted to just not perpetuate the stereotype.
Now that is a beautiful thing. I'm gonna tell you what, for her to be, it wasn't that you're going to and I'm going that stereotype like she says that oftentimes is portrayed with black women, especially in scenes in Hollywood when they're successful and powerful and all that in those scenes. She wanted to break the stereotype a bit and play the real even, but even played it strong though. She was still strong, she still had her opinions and her positions, but the one thing that helped her to play it even was that she was receptive to the conversation and what was taking place, which really made that come over well and pull off well. You got the impression that we actually were in a relationship. It wasn't just some dude to spend time with, nor is it, hey, I just want to make sure I'm hitting these trips or anything like that, but it was something that we really enjoyed the exterior piece of spending time together, and it helped kind of move a really good thing. Already that Trey and I have really good chemistry because I've known her for over 10 years. She kind of knows where I'm going to go with scenarios, but it really helped to kind of blend this out a bit and make the scene work for me. It made it a lot easier for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Trey, do you have anything else you want to add to it? Or?
No, just glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Explain too.
All right. So listen, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give Trey a hand. Woo! I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed Think, Feel, Act. I hope you enjoyed the settings that we're putting things in. We're trying to give you guys some different looks. We're trying to challenge our actors with different looks. Coming up, we're doing some things with Think, Feel, Act where we're actually going to be transitioning in some of these scenes off of the green screen and onto an actual set where we're doing some different things. We've got a show that's coming up within the next week or two that's going to go off live Tuesday night, the same night, which is going to be a sitcom. It's called Mocha Brown's Coffee Lounge. I was told don't throw it out there just yet, but I'm throwing it out there right now because I'm excited about this sitcom that we're going to drop live for you. It's going to be like watching Good Times back in the day or The Jeffersons or whatever. We're going to push it over live right here for you. So I hope that you join us. We're going to put out some promotional stuff when we're ready to kick it off. Like I said, within the next week or two, we want to kind of roll over the first episode that we're going to be pulling together. So I hope you guys join us. Continue to give us your comments. Hit us up online with your comments right here on the YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, please subscribe to our YouTube page. Also, watch some of the content we have up there. We've got over 54 videos, different projects, stage plays, short films, sitcoms, web series that we have up on the site that we want you to take a look at. And like I said, pretty soon we've got an exciting announcement that we're going to make about some other platforms that we're operating on, so we're always moving. So, if you enjoyed it, tell some of your friends, tell some of your family. Continue to come back and join us here on Tuesday nights for Think, Feel, Act. I hope that you enjoyed it. Marvin Coleman with Inkwell Pictures and Inkwell Network. Thank you so much for joining us again and signing off. Be blessed and be safe.
And signing off in 3, 2, 1.